So, good afternoon. A very warm welcome to all the participants and speakers to the third edition of the DX Summit organized by CII and the Center for Digital Transformation. The program is being run on the CII Hive platform, where we have around 4,000 participants registered for the summit. I welcome all of you to this fireside chat on the ICT infrastructure as a service for the oil and gas sector. On an average, there are more than 10,000 pumps running 24/7 in a large oil and gas sector conglomerate, which results in massive data generation from such huge entities every second. With the dependence on continuous functioning of millions of IoT devices and thereafter integration with AI and ML, the critical informed decision making which ICT enables has formed the backbone for the oil and gas sector. Post-pandemic, we are facing constraints due to non-availability of human intervention in terms of breakdown, and secondly, ever-increasing prices of everything else, all commodities. With shrinking capital, spending budgets, and even lower OPEX forecast, the fireside chat, which we have today, would deliberate upon how can ICT infrastructure as a service help oil giants and highlight the benefits of EAS as the future of energy sector. I welcome the distinguished speakers for this fireside chat. We have Mr. H.P. Singh, the Executive Director and CIO of ONGC with us. We will shortly be joined by Mr. Suresh Nambiar, the Chief General Manager of Indian Oil Corporation. I'll briefly introduce Mr. Singh. He leads the IT, OT, data center, telecom, and ERP groups. In addition, he's driving ONGC's digital transformation agenda and steering the upgrade journey to SAP S/4HANA. Recently, he was conferred with the IDC Industry Innovation Award, IDG CIO 100 Award and Governance, and recently the Digital Transformation Leader Award. During the national lockdown during the pandemic, he was head coordination at the corporate headquarters and played a crucial role in enabling continuity of oil and gas operations at remote installations. In addition, he has a vast experience in various technology domains, in oil and gas process plants and offshore installations. He's an electronics and communications engineer, as well as an MBA in operations from MDI Gurgaon. He also has a leadership development program from IIM Kolkata. He also has to his credit a certificate in petroleum management from the University of Alberta in Canada. I will also like to introduce the moderator for this fireside chat, Ms. Bhavna Agarwal, Senior Director, Growth, Country Head, HPE India. Bhavna joined the leadership team of HPE as a Senior Director, India Growth and Transformation recently. She is responsible for developing the growth strategy for India and designing programs and setting direction for its execution. She acts as a key advisor to senior leadership in exploring new growth opportunities, focusing on exploring the right market strategies and partnerships to enhance the overall portfolio, delivering growth in new and existing market segments in India. She is an award-winning digital leader and an entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience in leading media houses, internet companies, and startups in India. She has held several leadership and founding roles at platforms like NDTV Gadgets, Yatra.com, 70mm, and Times Internet. Bhavna is an alumni of the Harvard Business School and was recognized as Asia's greatest CEO in 2017 by Asia One magazine. She was amongst the top 50 most innovative leaders of 2017 and is the recipient of several awards. With this, I would like to request Bhavna to kindly take forward the proceedings for this fireside chat. Over to you, Bhavna.
Thank you so much, Kavita, and thanks for sharing such impressive credentials about Mr. Singh. So absolutely a pleasure, connecting with him today. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody is really keeping safe and healthy in these times. So at the outset, I really take this opportunity to welcome everybody for this fireside chat, specifically on the ICT infrastructure as a service for the entire oil and gas sector. So our guests today, have played a very, very instrumental role in the entire digital transformation of India's largest oil and gas PSUs, especially, the ONGC. And Mr. Singh, on behalf of all industry members, we extend a very warm welcome to you. And we're really looking forward to hearing your views and insights during this entire session. So, sir, as part of the discussion, I have some questions on your tremendous digital transformation journeys And we would really love to understand your perspective on some of the key initiatives. And just to give a brief background for everybody's benefit. To begin with, I think ONGC was formed in 1956, and today it ranks 190th in Global Fortune 500 list, being the third company in the list from India and ranked 17th in Platts Global Top 250 companies. So for any large company this size, of ONGC to remain successful over the years by staying very agile, constantly transforming, yourself must be like what is, often termed in business as making the elephant dance. So I think in an increasingly globalized environment, particularly in an industry which is almost very, very significantly impacted by the global pressures of efficiency, sustainability, you name it, right? I mean, modernization, digitization, and that's really imperative to keep up with that pace of change. So, Mr. Singh, if you were to segregate, or if one was to really segregate ONGC's digital transformation journey, how would you really demarcate various phases, of all the tech innovation that has been undertaken by ONGC? So, for example, you have the Disha initiative, or the HPC journey, or the upcoming initiatives like VDI, ST1. So, really looking forward to hear your thoughts on that.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks, Bhavna. In fact, I think I did not explain about the ONGC because ONGC is such a huge company. It's a Maharatna company, and we are producing around 70% of the crude oil what the country is producing. Our offices are, in fact, our installations are dispersed. It is located all over the country as well as in the offshore. So for us, in fact, ICT is a very, 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 very robust ICT is a very important thing for us. I will be coming to the digitization since you have poked me to tell you something about the journey. So I joined ONGC around 34 years back, and I would tell you that during the time nothing was. Today you say that everything is available as a service. But that time, even there were no operators who could provide you a simple, even telephone to a remote locations. So those kind of things were there that time. There was no mobile telephone, there was nothing. So for sustaining our operations, we were largely dependent on the VHF and AHF communications, which even the newer generation would never know what is how it like it was they were using. They see only the walkie-talkies at the airport or some other like security locations, but these were the primary communication equipment that time in the beginning in 1956 and onwards. We went for different kind of communications subsequently, like we went for RABML, we went for the MARC system and other things, but it was not very user friendly. But that time it gave a edge to ONGC in the sense that ONGC recruited so many electronics and communication engineers, because like satisfying the need of the operations was a very tough time, and there was no even DOT had a very limited no, there was no operator at all that time. So then whole journey I would briefly define in 3 to 4 phases. First phase was that. Then in 2002, our you can say during around 2000 we generate gathered a lot of data from the seismic data from the field. So this HPC came into action. We had set up this HPC at different locations in around 5 locations in the country to interpret those and process the seismic data which we were collecting from the field. And those all things, it was on a capex based, and everything was maintained by in-house by the ONGC people. So you can see, imagine that how much manpower was getting involved in all this. The real crush came in 2002 when ONGC decided that yes, now enough is enough, because our operations are distributed all over. People are more than 35,000 people where that time directly they were employed. So we have to manage them. So we went for the ERP package implementation of SAP in ONGC. And I'm happy to tell you that that SAP implementation was one of the biggest in the Asia. And ONGC started with that, and we created all the infrastructure here within the premises. Because when we proceed further, I will tell you why we have not gone out even outside the organization for setting up that infrastructure. So then in 2002 we went for SAP R3. Then further to different modernization has taken place, and the advantage was because in SAP people had to work from the installation. So you need to have a very robust ICT even connectivity to the installation, so that people can directly, they can use the HR module, they can use the related PRA module, different modules. So that was a turning point from ONGC, that we created a huge infrastructure up to the remotest field. So that was the second phase, I would tell you, in a different way. So that was the second revolution. And at that time also, there were not many supporters who could supply you as a service and all. So again, it was everything was done by ONGC only. SAP was implemented, and we have implemented right now 32 modules, starting from production. Even that time. Today we tell about the analytics. Even the BW, whatever the business analytics was already built in that, and that dashboard was available to all the key makers like in ONGC. So that kind of things were done. Then slowly many things have come up. Even the DISA came because again increasing the in the government organization, whosoever my colleague have joined from the government, unless file moves, approval is on the file, like nothing moves. So you have to have those kind of system electronically on place. And taking a clue from the vision of our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, in fact, he gave something that, you should go for some greening thing, sustainable sort of thing. And then that time it was decided, for file movement, we calculated that more than 10,000 trees even are getting cut only to make the papers. So that quantum of papers even ONGC was using. So we went for paperless, that DISA. DISA is really, in Hindi you can say it's a direction, but it was a digitization, integration, and standardization, harnessing automation. So its full form is that. So now you know how that has helped. People who is originating that file electronically from even sitting in the Karaikal, in the Pondicherry, within a click of button it reaches here in Delhi, and we it is approved here, or whatever action is required. So those were the actions, those were the phases we have come across. Now the digital has come. Now people, it's not a common business that usual whatever we were just getting the data, keeping it in the hour. Now there are a lot of analytics is required. Industry 4.0 is required to be inbuilt in the system. So we are going for that. We have even upgraded upgrading the SAP to SAP S/4HANA, that I think you must be even eager to know in the latter part. So those are the things. So now we have reached up to a very at a level where we are going for analytics. We are going to make some layers. We have in fact onboarded one of the one of the best, you can say, from our side, consultant on board. They are guiding us for the digital journey, and they have given, there are 60 technology areas where we can enter in the journey of digital oil field, what we say. So those are the brief journey, like history I give you, Bhavna.
This was super impressive, and thank you so much for sharing the details on the entire transformation journey that you've had, at ONGC. This is like really impressive. So I see, I think Mr. Nambiar has also joined.
Yes.
So Kavita,
Yes.
I think we should definitely introduce him as well to the panel.
Yes, we have our second speaker also, Mr. Suresh Nambiar, the Chief General Manager of Indian Oil Corporation. Welcome, Mr. Nambiar. I'll just briefly introduce him. Mr. Nambiar has worked in various capacities in terminal operations, software development, system support, infrastructure management, network management, security data center setup, etc. at locations from Mangalore, Kochi, Mumbai, Bhopal, Gurugram, and New Delhi. Mr. Nambiar is part of the leadership for the digital transformation team at IOCL. Through their digitalization project, iDrive, Indian Oil is undergoing a multi-year digital transformation journey to accelerate implementation of identified digital initiatives, build strategic IT and digital capabilities across IOCL, and create an organization-wide digital awareness. Mr. Nambiar is a postgraduate in computer applications from TKM College of Engineering, Quilon from Kerala University. He's also an MBA in human resources from Sikkim, Manipal University. Over to you, Bhavna, again.
Thank you, Kavita, and a very warm welcome to you, Mr. Nambiar. We just had the first question going with Mr. Singh, and he shared some excellent insights. And I would really jump straight into my question to you. We're really eager to hear what you have to say. And as we know that IOCL is also one of the India's very successful PSU, which is also ranked I think 212 on the Fortune Global 500 list for 2021. And incidentally, IOCL and ONGC have been most profitable government PSUs. And IOCL also is, India's largest petroleum marketing organization with nearly half the market share for the petroleum products and almost 35% of national refinery capacity. So with such a broad portfolio of network and presence, IT must have really played a very big role for IOCL in maintaining this leadership in the path of sustainable growth. So, Mr. Nambiar, what do you think, would really define the key milestone in modernizing and digitally transforming IOCL as an organization?
Very good afternoon to you. You are right. IT has indeed played a big role for IOCL in maintaining our leadership in the path of sustainable growth. Being a public sector organization, our stakeholders are varied. Our commitment towards sustainable energy and green energy is unconditional. Incidentally, we have declared the year 2022 as the year of sustainability. So we started our digitization journey way back in 1990s. In 2002, we onboarded SAP as our ERP. It's been a long digitization journey where in 2016, we actually started our CRM project. And in 2017, we started our digital transformation journey. Today, we can proudly say that we have indeed passed through the disruptions in digital front. During the last 2 years in particular, with implementation of emerging technology tools, commercially available, customizable off-the-shelf tools, and advanced analytics in operations, maintenance, and marketing. Therefore, the opportunities to thrive are plentiful. About 75% would say that digital disruption is creating exciting opportunities for their organization. Digital may cause concern for some, but few reject the idea that it also creates compelling chances to go ahead. Going back in time, before the Industrial Revolution began mass production, people were producing goods by hand. The invention of steam engine in the 18th century has resulted in great supply chains, which in end caused more demands, both in terms of goods and also the necessity of development. Nearly half of business leaders say that responsibility falls with their combined leadership team. And IOC has been fortunate to have that. Hence, these executives are exploring a diverse range of opportunities, strategies in pursuit of digital success. If you ask me what is COVID-19's contribution to India, apart from other things, including capability enhancements and in the medical front, one can notice that India went digital in a big way. So organizations that had manual processes embarked on the digital board, and people at all levels propagated the idea and convenience of a digital way of life. So while technology has always been a great force in disrupting and status quo, arguably the difference today is the universal presence of technology in our lives and the speed of change. The success of new enterprises such as Uber and Airbnb, for example, has been simple. They identified the need, resolved the pain point, innovated with technology, and welcomed the customers who have in turn embraced a new frontier of service away from the traditional services. So as regards analytics, one might have heard the slogan that the challenge when it comes to predictions is that if you get it right, you call it a genius. You are called a genius. And if you get it wrong, an idiot. So as I will always say, need enables demand, demand enables supply, supply enables innovation, and innovation enables need. So that's a cycle. Satisfying all these vertices and edges result in happiness and gains. So digital transformation is a continuous journey and can't be restricted to a particular milestone or achievement. Having said that, there are four major themes where IOCL has been focusing. So one, leverage existing data and create forward-looking, meaningful insights through AI/ML-based technologies, leading to improvement in critical information and performance metrics. Driving technology adoption at scale across the businesses through enhancing the utilization of existing tools as well as revamping the tech stack with custom tools. Exploring new emerging technologies such as RPA, blockchain, AR, VR, and operationalizing them through enterprise-wide platforms, and driving change management to derive full potential of the human resources by organizing hackathons, leadership sessions, etc.
That's excellent. I think that's indeed quite a journey for an organization like IOCL, and the entire IT transformation clearly shows the possibilities of the entire sustainable growth. So I think that that's really good. My second question to you, Mr. Singh, is that, at ONGC, across its various areas of operation, from explorations to refineries to pipelines, I think it's been really consistently leveraging technology to enable its diverse workforce to very effectively contribute to the consistent growth that ONGC has achieved. And for this, I'm sure you would have found that while amount of data which is being generated is tremendous, but it also puts an equal responsibility on the organization, that, how do you really leverage that data and utilize it to generate very, very actionable intelligence. So there are a lot of thoughts within the industry regarding the difficulty in accessing the data in public clouds to really monetize and utilize it, apart from a lot of regulatory, security, and sovereignty concerns. So how critical were these concerns for you, specifically when you were deciding on your cloud strategy for ONGC?
Yeah, thank you, Bhavna, for touching this very, very, very sensitive question. Because, recently, Ministry of Petroleum has also come out a ENP roadmap where they have identified cloud as one of the enabling technology. And really seriously, we are working on this. But the problem is that there are certain guidelines from the MIT, which states that that we are in the critical sector, infrastructure sector, what has been defined by the government, and we have a lot of restrictions. So even if the MIT guidelines allows us to go to a particular MIT panel cloud, but there are some guidelines from the MHA that prohibits us, because we are in the critical sector, to go for the public cloud, because our data has to reside within the on the premise. So those are some of the constraints we are addressing it internally, and as well as we are in touch with the government also to allow us, because you have rightly pointed out that even some of the analytics, whatever is we need, it is available on the cloud at a very, very cheaper rate. So why don't we utilize those kind of analytical platform for our uses? But there are certain critical data like GNG data. It's a money for ONGC. It's like GNG data has enormous value for the company. So some decision has to be taken by the government. So jointly we are working on it. We have already created a roadmap for the cloud migration in the medium term and in the long term. So those already we have got approvals from our executive committee, which is the highest committee for policy in the company. So we have gone ahead, but we are going a bit slow, taking into all the factors what you have told, the security, cyber security, and all the guidelines of the government.
I think very rightly said, because, as at HP, we love to say that, cloud is an experience, not necessarily the destination. And I think if there is a way in which, you are able to get the best of both the worlds, so that, you have the complete control, security, compliance in your hands, while you're able to get the benefit, of the entire cloud economics and the scalability, I think that's a really good approach to take, for future. So I think thank you so much for sharing these insights on these issues and the entire cloud strategy that you're looking at. And also, Mr. Nambiar, I just wanted to understand that IOCL, sir, has really maintained the highest profits and has been contributing immensely to the entire development, that's happening. So can you please share the current digital transformation initiatives that have been taken by IOCL, especially on the lines of moving from a very capex heavy IT ICT infra to as a service pay-per-use model infrastructure, which is a lot more agile and gives benefit to scale up and scale down as and when you need it. So sir, if you could just share your views on that.
Yeah, as I said earlier, we embarked on our digital journey by implementing identified 79 digital initiatives from 2019. So we have today in our kitty about 100 plus initiatives spanning across high value projects of supply chain planning and optimization, scheduling, project management, digital logs, lab information management systems, etc. to optimize our systems. So we also have identified and implemented processes optimization and maintenance optimization through predictive analytics tools in various refinery units like CCRU, DCU, the FCCU, FPU, heat exchangers, etc. So adoption of new and emerging technologies have been given us tremendous fillip in customer engagement and retention. So all this need a strong platform in the backend. So we have procured HCI, that is hyperconverged infrastructure supported by VMware, Nutanix, and of course, including HP backend and not only CPUs, but also GPUs to enable high compute advanced analytics. So at the same time, we have within our limitations of government and statutory security obligations, including what Mr. HP Singh was talking about, the MIT guidelines and other restraints maintained by. So therefore, we have maintained a judicious stance between on-premise and cloud infrastructure. So as you already know, our refineries come under the critical information infrastructure of the nation. So it has been categorized by the ministry. So that means we have a lot of restrictions on keeping certain type of data outside our network. Thus, though we understand that agility, scale up and scale down might weigh towards cloud infrastructure, data sensitivity restrictions have limited our transition into public cloud. We do not have private cloud systems, or rather, we do have private cloud systems implemented, and therefore cloud is not a stranger technology to IOCL. But this is where the areas where there are restrictions, we have to be bound by them. Therefore, as we understand that digital has opened multiple unique business opportunities across business sectors, including oil and gas. And the major areas of focus have been setting up agile on-premise infrastructure for solution hosting, exploring cloud as a hybrid model and not as a one-time migration, conducting POCs for no-code, low-code platforms to streamline application development, etc. So technologies like HCI, software-defined network, etc., definitely are being explored, and we are confident that they find their way into appropriate use cases in the times to come.
Thank you so much, sir. So, feedback on such critical deployments, I think, is key to building trust in the entire digital transformation process. And HP is definitely proud to partner, with you for its entire digital transformation journey.
Yeah,
and I think
HP has been a long-time partner with IOCL, especially in our ERP implementations. Recently, HANA implementations, etc. So that is there always.
Yeah, thank you. And as you rightly said, and Mr. Singh also pointed out, I think hybrid is inevitable and hybrid is the future. So that brings me to my next question to you, Mr. Singh, that, given the fact that ONGC has been one of the pioneering PSU to go with pay-per-use model in your entire SAP HANA landscape, So with one of the industry first three-way DR for HANA, which provided not only cloud-like flexibility, but at the same time it offered on-prem kind of policy level control, something which is absolutely critical for any government organization, like yours, and especially a large organization. And in terms of data security and of course ease of access to your own data, which is absolutely critical to leverage the entire intelligence which is embedded. So how did these factors really play in your decision to go with this pay-per-use model as a forward-looking visionary and ready for the future organization where I know that from HP we were able to offer the entire HP GreenLake solution, but we'll be happy to know your thoughts that what really went behind that decision.
Yeah, so Bhavna, I think we have got in a very innovative way. The reason that there are two basic reasons. The first reason I already told you that we have limitations that we cannot go to the cloud. So that is a binding force, because in SAP we have all the business data, and as per the government guidelines, we are not supposed to keep it outside. So, and we have got, in my initial, description, I told you that we have got a very, very robust infrastructure within the company. And, SAP is such a critical thing for ONGC that we have gone for the zero data loss. That is the reason we have got for three-way DR. I think in the world, very few, I have not heard anybody, but very few companies have gone for three-way DR. So in this three-way DR, we have like zero in case of any disaster at the primary lane. You have a near side data center ready available. There is no loss of data. You can run with the DR where you have around 10 minutes delay. So those kind of model we are operating now. Coming to the hardware. With our experience, I will tell you that refreshing a hardware after its leaves life is very difficult in the government sector. Refreshing the hardware after 5 years or 7 years, it was becoming really a tough thing for us. And then we thought of within that, okay, why don't we have a cloud within the company itself, which takes care of everything. If any company, they are providing pay-per-use model to us, and that also in a different kind of model, revenue model, why don't we go for that? And the second thought behind this was the fluctuating oil prices. So why should we invest more than 100 crore just block the capital for the hardware, which we do not know in future how much we will be needing it. So those were very guiding force. So we went first for the storage with HP. Then again with that experience, because the experience was very good. In fact, whatever you need, how much you use, you just pay them. So that was really very, very excellent experience to us. Then we thought of going for the compute, and we have gone for the compute. All the even hardwares are getting installed. Even just to tell you that some of the HANA packages we are already migrated to. Recently, 2 days back, we have migrated to, and we are working on. So the basic philosophy behind was the zero capital outflow, no over provisioning cost, then scalability with future on demand. Then address the technological obsolescence. We do not know after 5 years, suppose you buy some hardware, what is going to happen? And then recurring procurement cycle. So that was really troubling us. So those things we are avoiding in this. And the GreenLake, what do you say? It is basically disposal was another big challenge for us. I do not know what you relate with this, but it is one of the things that also came up in our mind. Okay, after the first cycle, let the owner of that hardware take it away, give us the other, replace it with the new hardware. So those are some of the things that, in fact, and even cost-wise, also I would like to tell you on this platform that it is very cost competitive. It is like it is on demand service. I don't have to bother anything for the refresh cycle. It is 10 years. We are going this contract is for 10 years. Even the storage for 15 years. So we are very relaxed in this, and really we appreciate this. And this was the innovative thing what we did. I think that was the reason that many people even come to us and they ask about that.
Thank you so much. I must say that, HP is absolutely proud to be ONGC's partner of choice for such an important digital transformation initiative. And thank you so much for sharing your insights on that. And we, love to say that, the whole purpose of HP Green Lake is that, how we can take the complexities away so that you are able to run faster. You focus on the business, and, we are able to take care of the rest. And I think I'm so happy.
Yeah, Bhavna, sorry interrupting you. There was one more thing, because a lot of digitalization is taking place. I do not,
Yeah.
I cannot budget my hardware requirement for
Yes.
1 year.
Yes.
So, but this platform will give me that flexibility that I can tell HP, okay, I now need this much. You provide that. So that is another big thing what is embedded in the present model.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. It's so heartening to hear this feedback. Absolutely made my day. Great. So, Mr. Nambiar, just wanted to understand. And first of all, thank you for sharing your views, on the entire IOCL's vision, on the entire agile ICT infra. So, sir, IOCL has been consciously working on a private cloud strategy. So, what are your cloud plans going forward, and how critical will be the financial modeling for your private cloud, even in the case of on-prem deployment, when it comes to flexibility, growth, and even metering of the services? So what are your plans and views around that?
Yeah, ISCL's digital IT strategy team under what we call the Project iDrive, Indian Oil's digital readiness and IT vision enablement project, has been for the last 2 years devoting to implementing about 100 plus digital projects to raise the level of digital adoption in our organization multifold. And thanks to various stakeholders in different parts of the organization, we have been able to achieve great momentum and success. We have also obtained various awards, including FIPI Digitally Advanced Company of the Year for the last 2 consecutive years, Digital PSU Award, Governance Now, and many other CIO awards. So we also understand today that despite the hype about cloud computing as part of Industry 4.0 itself, costs of cloud are not considerably lower than on-premise. So when we weigh it out, especially for large organizations like us, where it is difficult to assume about scaling down. So we have always been growing up. So however, where software as a service is provided, there we might be able to leverage the advantages of up-to-date software versions when compared to on-premise software, because now many software companies have actually started moving to the cloud. So the software that consumes non-sensitive data and are available on the cloud have been our choice for the cloud. But sensitive data and related software remains within IOC. This, as I said earlier, about the CII, about the MIT guidelines, etc. Of course, companies like Azure, Google, all have started now coming with their MIT compliance cloud infrastructure. So probably we'll be able to look into those things in a later stage. But cloud is definitely a focus area as businesses continue to expand and grow. For IOCL, few key areas of focus have been actually the managing a very robust on-premise hosting infrastructure that is regularly updated with the latest updates and tech advances. Multiple digital initiatives have been designed and architected in a manner that they can work in hybrid model. Well, that is both private as well as public. So we are cloud ready anytime. As the demand for digital solutions rises, a financially flexible and technically sound model is desirable from cloud service providers. That can provide storage and compute on demand and basis use case specific needs. For example, certain AI ML use cases might have very highly intensive on compute requirements. Whereas a dashboard solution using gigabytes of data, of historical data, might require additional storage. So the pricing and infrastructure requirement should be accordingly balanced. And definitely technologies like HCI, software-defined network, etc., definitely are going to be are being explored, and we are confident that they find their way into appropriate use cases. But I would like to thank Mr. HP Singh for that cue on the OPEX model that you have given. I think we should talk to find out that in a more deeper way.
Thank you so much, for sharing this. And this was definitely very insightful. I think almost all the points that you talked about, are pretty, very pertinent and, would clearly shows that, there's a lot of thinking that's, going behind some of these decisions. And, Mr. Singh, my last question to you is that in our view, I think the entire global pandemic caused worldwide supply chain disruptions. And that's something that we're seeing in almost all the industries. And I think that awakened to world a lot of newer challenges, even for cash rich, very large mega organizations, like such as yours, at ONGC. And I think that's where cash conservation as part of the entire IT strategy is rightly credited, for keeping the wheels of progress chugging. As we emerge stronger out of this pandemic, thankfully, as a nation. So how do you think this pay-per-use model with a very long-term OEM partnership built into it made a right fit, at this time of unprecedented challenge that required a lot of huge digitization initiatives, a lot of flexibility to handle those changes while maintaining growth and without losing sight of social responsibilities in times of a national challenge like this, and that too for a leading PSU like yours.
Yeah.
So, would love to hear your views on that.
Yes, Bhavna. So, in fact, in the beginning also I have told you, it is not only the pandemic, but if you see the wild pricing cycle globally, it's fluctuating. Now, today it has crossed even $100 per barrel because of some political reason or whatever it is. But during pandemic, it has come down even to the $20 per barrel. So there is a huge variation in the prices. Now, since you are telling particularly about pandemic period, see that time for any exploration and production company, it was very difficult to take out that to invest even capital in this kind of thing. It was very difficult. They were trying to sustain their operations in the field. So that, in fact, that is one of the reasons that this project was really, in fact, we see that it was a boom for us. And it basically propelled us to go for this kind of, because you are sharing the revenue every year as much you are using it. Secondly, like during pandemic, we had given work from home facility to more than 6,000 people of ONGC. More than 6 of the people who wanted this facility, they have worked from home, and it's not something that they were just through email they are doing. They were doing the proper office work. And this, in fact, this model was not there, but that time a lot of hardware requirements were there. So we felt that this kind of arrangement, if you have in the company, this will help you the pandemic like situation. So those are the things, and you can build any capacity like planning you can do, and lot of digitalization. You see, like Indian Oil, they are telling that yes, a lot of analytics and lot of AI ML based applications they are going to. We also are on the same path. In fact, if you see entire industry, they have learned okay, pandemic has given a very bad thing to the globe, but they have given one good thing, that there are a lot of progress in the field of digitization. Now people are thinking, even you talk to the even smaller children who are not aware earlier, now they talk of digitization. So those kind of things are coming up, and organizations, bigger organizations like Indian Oil, ONGC, GAIL, they all have a bigger responsibility now. So these are the things, in fact. And one thing I forget to tell, that okay, when you are going for a private cloud sort of thing like we have gone, you always take OEM on board. They generally, for if you are going for a long term, and if you are going through a system integrator or a smaller like partner, then there may be some trouble during the contract period. So you always, I do not know how you are going to bind it, but you take the OEM on board, let them take responsibility. And this model, I will tell you, just after 2 years, you will again talk to me, you will find that even many companies are going for this kind of model. So that's what I want to just share. Thank you.
Very rightly said, and I think that's the reason, I always like to say that, it's very important that, we also look at this as a very, very unbiased partnership, so that, we are able to bring value, we are able to add value, while you are ready to fly and take off, how do we ensure that, we take that flexibility and, we take the entire complexity away, so that, our, partners, our customers, they are able to fly a lot higher. And I think that's the need of the hour, as you very rightly said, that, if there is a very strong engagement in this, in a partnership, I think that's the right way for everybody to look at. So thank you so much, today, Mr. Singh and Mr. Nambiar, for sharing such amazing, and valuable views on the entire transformation journey of your respective organizations. I think this interaction would definitely, help us plan and prepare for the next wave of transformation in the oil and gas sector and even a lot of other industries. As you, I think both of you rightly said that, pandemic definitely helped us run a lot faster. While I think as Indians, we definitely are a very, very resilient nation. I think it definitely reflects in the quality of people that we have, no matter what God or literally, the industry throws us, right? Throws at us. I mean, we just figure out a way to move forward. And I think this is clearly, talking to both of you and hearing your views, I mean, that clearly shows that even at scale, the massive scale that you're running at these organizations, even at that scale, that you're definitely marching ahead. And this, I think, will continue to be an important platform for the government industry to share their views and collaborate. That how we can together achieve this larger vision of technology-led growth for the country. And I think at HP, we are absolutely committed to play a very, very constructive role in this partnership. And thank you once again for your valuable insights. Absolute delight listening to both of you today. And over to you now, Kavita.
Thank you so much. Thank
Actually,
you.
Yeah, cloud or no cloud, you have told it very rightly about the schemes of India. And cloud or no cloud, we will always be on the air.
Absolutely, yes,
certainly.
absolutely. Very, very well put.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Singh. Thank you, Mr. Nambiar. Thank you, Bhavna, for moderating this fireside chat where we were able to hear how our Maharatnas are trying to harness the power of digital transformation. And I would like to really thank you for your very, very insightful messages. With this, we come to this end of this session. The next session is a masterclass on collaborative commerce at 4 p.m. I request the delegates to kindly join for the same. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.